Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Thanks for joining me today. With the warmer weather coming, I'm really looking forward to spending some time at our lake house. This is the view of our lake, and we get some gorgeous sunsets. And with that in mind, I thought I would share some of my lake house DIYs with you. My first DIY is an outdoor one. I found this ship's wheel image on Google and I just printed it out onto some computer paper and now I'm just going to cut it out. I'm using some Dollar Tree contact paper and I'm going to cut out a square that will fit the ship's wheel. Then I'm going to peel the backing off and put the ship's wheel on the sticky part. Using my craft knife, I'm going to carefully cut out the ship's wheel and that will leave me with a sticky decal. This is a great way to create decals when you don't have a cutting machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette. I've got this old white patio table that I want to spray paint. So now I'm peeling off the paper backing of the contact paper so I can stick the contact paper down and use that as my decal. Again, without a Cricut. You can see I'm kind of struggling here getting this paper off, but it does come off pretty nicely eventually. I'm just going to stick it in one corner of my table, make sure that it's nice and smooth and all of the edges are down so I don't get any bleeding. I'm going to give this a couple of coats of Rust-Oleum spray paint. I believe this is the stuff for plastic, but it's been a while and I can't see the can, so sorry about that. But then when I'm finished and it's dry, I'm going to take my Dollar Tree little X-Acto knife and pull up the ship's wheel contact paper, and I'm left with the white showing through underneath. This was a super easy project that anyone can do, even if you don't have a Cricut. So don't be afraid to try different techniques. For this project, I'm using an old piece of shelving that was already white. I'm using Serenity Blue chalk paint by Rust-Oleum, and I gave it a couple of coats. While it was wet, I'm just dragging my brush across it to give it a little bit of a rustic look. Once the paint was dry, I measured out 4 sections and I'm just creating a bit of a shiplap or a board look just using my pencil. I'm making a deck rules sign and I'll be using a bunch of different stencil letters in different styles, different fonts, different sizes. I'm also going to put some words going across, some words going vertically up and down, and I'm going to chunk some in some areas. And I'm going to be using gray chalk paint to stencil and put the letters in. I want all of the letters to be the same color, but the different fonts will, of course, make them look different anyway. I'm going to use a product called No More Nails, which is a really, really strong adhesive. And I just took some of these pallet wood pieces, I sanded them down, but left them the raw wood, cut them to length, and now I'll just glue them right around my deck rule sign as a frame. I really love how this one turned out too. This next project is upcycling this lamp that has seen better days. It's got a stone finish on it right now. I'm going to give it a couple of good coats of aged gray Rust-Oleum chalk paint. It ends up looking like concrete. The shape and size of the shade was perfect, but I didn't like the color. This was a fabric shade, so I decided to give it a shot and paint it. I'm using Rust-Oleum linen white, and I'm also using my chalk paintbrush to get a nice smooth finish. It turned out really good with 2 coats. I'm using the Dollar Tree nautical rope and I'm going to glue it about halfway up the lamp. So where the gray paint starts and the stone finish ends, that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to create some cheater tassels. I've got another piece of the nautical rope and I'm going to use some small twine and tie a knot. So just about a couple of inches, I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times, tie it off, and then I'm going to fray the part that is below the knot. And that will give me a tassel look. I'm going to glue the rope right under the lid of the lamp. This is sort of a ginger jar shape, if you know what that is. And what I'm going to do is just glue the other piece right on top, cross them over, and I'm also making sure that this is going to be the front of my lamp. Project number two is using this thrifted jar. I think it's about 18 inches high. I'm going to do an ombre paint effect on this, and I'm starting out with sort of a mushroom color. It's a little bit of a beigey gray. I want this to pretend that it's the sand. So it's the sand color of my ombre effect. The next color will be the water, and that will be this sort of tealy blue color. I think it's absolutely gorgeous and it's really perfect for coastal decor. And then the last color will be the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the Serenity blue, and that will represent the sky. I'm going to be blending all of these colors together because I don't want any harsh lines. I'm using different brushes for each of them because I want to be able to have the nice blue color, but I also then want to be able to blend it into the mushroom color underneath. I've let the paint colors dry because I do want them to be nice and solid. So now what I'm going to be doing is blending them in. So I'm taking a little bit of the gray color, a little bit of the blue color, and then blending it until I get the look that I want. I'm using one brush and I'm just going to keep dipping back and forth into the gray and the blue, and then I'll repeat those steps with the blue and the light blue at the top. I love the way this turned out. The ombre isn't as difficult as you think. You've just got to keep working it until you get all of the colors blended really softly together and you don't have any harsh lines. I used some dollar store beads to make a somewhat of a garland, but I'm going to use this as a little decor piece around the neck of the bottle, and then I'll make a couple of twine tassels to hang from the end. The way I make my tassels is I wrap the twine a bunch of times around three of my fingers. Then I take another piece of twine and I loop it through the top and tie it off so I have something to attach it to my garland. I've seen people do this a different way, and since I've done this video, I have learned different ways to make tassels. So please make sure you just check out all the other tassel making videos online to see which way works best for you. I added a couple of smaller beads to one of the longer strands of twine, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Let me know what you think of this project. In the summer months, you can find a lot of nautical decor at dollar stores. I found this jar with the rope on it already. I'm going to use Rust-Oleum chalk paint in Serenity Blue, and I'm going to dilute it down with some water. Then I'm just simply going to pour it inside the jar and then roll the jar around as you see me doing here until it's completely covered. I poured out the rest of the paint into a little jar and then let it sit upside down to dry. This spice rack was also a thrift store find. I'm just using linen white chalk paint to paint the inside of it. I'm going to paint the top and the bottom with the Serenity Blue. And then I've got a super easy project, actually two super easy projects with a nautical or coastal look to them. I'm really happy with these two. This next project is super easy. I've got 3 of these drawer pulls from Hobby Lobby, and I have a piece of barn board that I've already sanded down nice and smooth. The barn board came from an old shed that we tore down on our lake house property, so I thought it was perfect to use this for this DIY. I'm measuring out 3 equal distances, and then I'll use my drill to drill holes in so I can easily fit the drawer pulls right through. I'm just going to tighten them up with the bolt on the back, and it's ready to go. I thought I would use some more of the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree to add a couple of rope accents in between the anchors. This is a really neat coat hook that you can use, or it could just be a decorative accent, but I really love how these turned out. I hope you enjoyed my lake house and outdoor DIYs and got some inspiration to create some summer decor for your home, your cottage, or your lake house. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel. See you in the next one.